I'm here with Attar. We were actually in a wedding together. Attar is the best man. He's actually BM in my phone for best man. But Attar is a financial advisor at Cornerstone Financial Group, and he's just awesome and really full of knowledge. So I really wanted to bring the knowledge that he has and share it with all of you. So Attar, I work mostly with the financial side, right, of mortgages. But with that, this is the biggest asset that most people have. How do we go about protecting that asset?
That's a good question. So it sounds kind of rudimentary, but one of the best ways to protect it is through life insurance. Nobody wants to talk about life insurance. They want to talk about investing and retirement, and purchasing assets, But at the end of the day, let's just say 2-income household, right? If one of you doesn't make it home from work that night, right, or one of you doesn't wake up in the morning, you've just lost a big chunk of your income for the household, right? Well, how do you keep up with the mortgage? A lot of people don't think about this stuff when they purchase a home, that what happens if I'm not there to pay for the home?
Yeah, I mean, nobody really wants to think about this conversation and get, kind of uncomfortable really quick. So how does life insurance actually help protect you in the scenario that you're describing?
On the very, very face of it, let's say you have a $500,000 mortgage, okay? And your husband or your wife dies and they bring in X amount of dollars every month, right? Well, when they die, you get that death benefit. A lot of times it's not just the mortgage, it's to maintain lifestyle. It's to even help pay for the kids' college, right? There's a lot of stuff that you can do with life insurance. It's a very, very unique product. But when it's done properly, you can put a very good portfolio together that is meant to help your family if you don't make it to retirement, because I love talking about retirement, right? That's my favorite. That's why I got into this industry. But if you don't make it to retirement, how do we make sure that the rest of your family does?
Yeah, and it is really complicated, and it makes sense for people to go to an actual advisor to have someone who can actually walk you through it. But we know that there are a lot of DIY out there.
Yep.
So for the people who are looking to just, get their feet wet and try to understand life insurance on their own, what should they be looking for in a policy?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, ultimately, I'll die on this hill. For such an important purchase, you should work with a professional, insurance professional, financial advisor, someone who's got their elbows deep in insurance. But if you're going to go online and do it, go to lifeinsurance.com or whatever, you want to look. It's not just the face amount and it's not just the premium amount, because you're going to get what you pay for with life insurance. But, if you get a term policy to cover the mortgage, right, it's going to be less expensive. But what if most of that policy pays out as an accidental death benefit, right? Well, there's different riders that create different scenarios on the payout. So what if the rider, that $8 a month, $1 million policy, which sounds great on the face of it, but what if you have to die in an accident, but the accident has to be the cause of death? Well, that seems pretty straightforward, but the paramedics picked you up, you got to the hospital, they stabilized you, but then 2 days later you died of a heart attack from complications from the accident. Well, that policy may not pay out because you didn't die from the accident. People don't think of that. Or the term of it. If you have a 30-year mortgage, but you buy a 20-year term policy, what's left over for that mortgage? If you die in that 10-year window without insurance in place, it's tough.
So
It's
so much. Well, I mean, so I'm working with people. We buy the house together. It's very exciting, but it's expensive. It's still expense coming out of their pocket. So they already have homeowners insurance. To add something else to that, I get clients saying, well, I don't want to be house poor. What do you say to clients who express this type of mentality and have these types of questions and concerns?
Yeah, what I try to explain to them, and I'm obviously very tactful about it, right? I'm not going to, say it this way, but ultimately, if you feel that you can't afford life insurance, the reality is you can't afford not to have life insurance. It's one of those assets that it's not sexy, it's not fun to buy, it's not something that you're gonna, count your dollars and cents on, but it's a protective asset. You just made a huge purchase. What's more important? You've got your home, you've got your family. Life insurance protects both those things, the two most important things in your life.
Yeah.
You know, and work insurance is not, you know, life insurance you get through work is not enough to cover a mortgage. You know, if it even pays out. If you're on disability at the time, you don't even have life insurance in place.
Well, thank you so much, Attar, for all that helpful information. And obviously, there's way more that goes into it. So if you are someone who is looking into life insurance, you haven't signed up for a policy yet, and you've just decided maybe lifeinsurance.com isn't the best way to go, Attar is here to help. And thank you so much for joining us today.